Hey everyone, imagine this. We're all pushing hard for green energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, electric cars, thinking we're saving the planet. But what if I told you that this green transition has a very dirty secret, one that most people don't talk about? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something uncomfortable, but incredibly important. The hidden cost of green energy. We all know the story we're told. Renewable energy is clean, sustainable, and the future. And in many ways, it is. But behind the shiny panels and spinning turbines lies a massive extraction industry that's destroying ecosystems, exploiting communities, and creating new environmental problems in places most of us never see. We're talking about the mining of lithium, cobalt, nickel, copper, and rare earth minerals. The materials needed to build batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, and electric vehicles. The demand is exploding, and the consequences are already showing up in countries like Chile, Bolivia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, China, and Indonesia. This isn't about saying green energy is bad. It's about being honest. The transition we're rushing into has real costs, environmental, social, and human. And if we don't face them now, we might just replace one set of problems with another. In this episode, we're going to look at the real.
Let's start with lithium, often called white gold. It's the key ingredient in almost every electric vehicle battery. The biggest lithium reserves are in the lithium triangle: Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. In Chile's Atacama Desert, companies are pumping massive amounts of water out of the ground to extract lithium. This region is already one of the driest places on Earth. Local indigenous communities are losing their water sources, their farmland is drying up, and entire ecosystems are collapsing. Farmers and herders are being forced to move. Flamingos and other wildlife that depend on the salt flats are dying off. And this is happening so we can drive electric cars in Europe and North America. Now let's talk about cobalt. Around 70% of the world's cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The conditions there are often shocking: child labor, dangerous mines, toxic pollution. Many of the green batteries in our phones and cars have a very dark human cost. Even wind and solar have their problems. Wind turbines require huge amounts of steel, concrete, and rare earth minerals. Solar panels need silver, silicon, and other materials that come with their own mining impacts. When these technologies reach the end of their life in 20-25 years, we're going to face a massive waste problem. The point isn't that we should stop going green. The point is that we need to be honest about what this transition actually costs, not just in money, but in destroyed landscapes and human lives.
One of the biggest issues is how concentrated this mining is. A few countries control most of the world's supply of these critical minerals. China dominates rare earth processing. The Congo dominates cobalt. This creates dangerous dependencies and geopolitical tensions. We're replacing oil dependence with mineral dependence. And many of these minerals come from countries with weak environmental laws and poor labor protections. Local communities often get the worst deal. In Indonesia, nickel mining for EV batteries has led to deforestation and pollution. In Serbia, there were massive protests against a new lithium mine. In Greenland, indigenous groups are fighting against rare earth projects. The green industry likes to show shiny factories and happy customers. But behind the marketing, there's a trail of destroyed forests, polluted rivers, and displaced people. And here's something many don't realize. Even if we succeed in electrifying everything, the total demand for these minerals is expected to increase 4 to 10 times by 2040. We're talking about opening hundreds of new mines all over the world.
Now, let's talk about the end of life. Solar panels and wind turbines don't last forever. Most solar panels have a 25-30 year lifespan. Wind turbines around 20-25 years. what happens when millions of them reach the end of their life? We're heading toward a massive waste crisis. Many components contain toxic materials. Recycling is expensive and not very efficient yet. Right now, most old panels and turbine blades end up in landfills. Electric car batteries also have a limited lifespan. What are we going to do with millions of tons of used lithium-ion batteries? The recycling rate is still very low in many countries. This is the uncomfortable truth. The green energy transition is creating new environmental problems while trying to solve old ones. We're shifting pollution from the air in cities to mining sites in developing countries.
So what's the solution? We can't go back to fossil fuels. That's not an option. But we also can't keep pretending that the green transition is flawless and cost-free. The truth is, we need to do this transition much smarter. That means heavy investment in real recycling technologies so that old solar panels, wind turbine blades, and batteries don't just end up in landfills. We need better battery chemistries that use fewer problematic materials like cobalt. We need stricter environmental and labor standards for mining operations worldwide. Local communities that live near these mines must actually benefit from them, not just suffer the pollution and displacement. And we need transparent supply chains so consumers know where their green products really come from. Some companies and countries are already trying to do it better. There are promising recycling startups, new battery technologies that avoid cobalt, and projects trying to make mining more responsible. But these efforts are still small compared to the scale of the problem. The uncomfortable reality is that the rich, industrialized nations driving the green transition are often the ones pushing the mining onto developing countries with weaker regulations. If we want a truly sustainable future, that gap in responsibility and fairness has to close. This isn't about stopping green energy. It's about doing it honestly and ethically, so we don't just shift the pollution from one place to another.
So where does this leave us? The green energy transition is necessary, but it's not as clean as we're often told. We're trading one set of problems for another if we don't do it carefully. The good news is we still have time to fix this. We can invest in better recycling, develop cleaner battery technologies, enforce responsible mining standards, and make sure the countries bearing the heaviest burden also get real benefits. This isn't about stopping green energy. It's about doing it honestly and fairly. True sustainability means not just shifting pollution from rich countries to poor ones, but actually reducing harm overall. The next 10 to 15 years will decide whether the green transition becomes a real success story or just another chapter of environmental injustice. Let's make sure we get it right.